Hi teacher, I am going to talk about euthanasia. Euthanasia consists when someone is sick but the patient suffers too much because of the pain, and for agreement of the family or request of the patient, it is decided to finalize with the life. Some people and books says that euthanasia is a way doesn't ethical for finalize of the life because they think in the value of the life, and they think too that nobody has the right of cause the death of a fellow man. And they say that if people accept euthanasia, they accept too that the life doesn't have importance, as well as there are many people that despite the situation struggle for the life. These people and books are very conservative and reactionary. That's one way to look at it, but exists other people that think that the euthanasia is good only when the people or patient suffers too much because of the pain. But other people think that the euthanasia is good too for avoid the pain and avoid the suffering for the patient and for the family too, because the family suffers too because of the patient. According to these people, each person have the right for to decide about his own life, but it is very important for the doctors to have the consent of the patient especially, or of the family when the patient doesn't have to decide, because in some places or countries the euthanasia is legal, but in other countries like Guatemala the euthanasia is illegal, because exists the controversial if the euthanasia is good, because the question is if the is good to let death with pain to someone, or it's good to kill someone, because the problem is the ethical, and the problem is too the pain and the suffer for the people. And these people is more radical and more conservative, but it's the life of one person, and it's necessary to think too much about this question. When the patient can't to live and fend for himself, it's difficult for the family, but it's difficult for the patient too. But it's more difficult for the family, because they can't to find someone to give medical cares, and like the patient don't can to work, he can to win money. On the contrary, he spend money in medicine or in other things. But it isn't a reasonable argument, because exist some people with lower and upper extremities and with diseases like paralysis, but they struggle for life. One example is Nick Vujicic. He born without upper and lower extremities, but he now has a family and he gives speeches in different places. I say that because exist some people like consider the euthanasia in situations like paralysis or without upper and lower extremities, but it's more difficult to give one opinion when the person or the patient has a lot of pain and he suffers too much because of the pain. But the euthanasia not is the best option, because we can to consider the reasons ethicals. In conclusion, I disagree. Why? Well, in the Bible says you should not murder, and it's very important to consider if the patient has or not pain, because if the patient has a lot of pain, it's very important for the family to stay near of the patient all of the time and support him. But if the patient doesn't have pain, he can to struggle for the life. The euthanasia not is the best option for reasons ethicals, and we can't to do anything. Well, it was my presentation about controversial issue, that is the euthanasia. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day.